Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
We're gonna raise a charity up.
Raise it up. That charity now. Raise it up. Get people to pay $50 to take a O'Toole's car for a charity event. Hashtag best idea ever.
I love how every idea involves someone on your car. Damn right Gino Retta's pubic hair is worth something. It's worth a hell of a lot. If I could glue that onto my forehead, I'd happily do it. I'm going to piss.
I was in green card.
So he's like, I'm getting up and I'm pissing on the floor. And then she comes out and she's like, I'm working independently now. I want you to hire me.
And she came out in a teddy?
She... You like my long legs? You like those? Want me to wrap those around you?
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
Dance. Hey, we made it to 25 episodes of the Jay and Dan podcast.
Forgot to mention on the last podcast, so we made it to the 2-4.
Yeah, you probably should have just not said that. All right, thanks. That's been episode 25. Thank you for listening. Do we have a sponsor yet?
Yes, episode number 25, brought to you by Trojan.
Trojan. They cured AIDS. Nobody's wearing them anymore.
I don't think they did.
Oh, they didn't? I thought they cured AIDS in the little baby. And now we can all just bareback.
So the poor family put this on in the car. Dad's like, yeah, let's have a listen. Already tuned out.
Hey, Dad, I'm teaching your kids about real life lessons here.
Raffy's back on.
Hey, Raffy, shut your bearded face.
By the way, you know you're a parent when you get into the car by yourself, which happened to me today. Raffy is on, and it takes you 15 minutes to realize that that you're driving around listening to Raffy.
Yeah. There's like
Raffy's awesome.
Some illness in your house, so you had to take care of the kids by yourself yesterday.
Yeah.
Not fun for you, was it?
No.
Did you even know what to do? You had to introduce yourself to the kids? Hi, I'm Dan, your father.
Well, the one child, as mentioned before, she does call me Dan.
I love that. And since then, you've acquired a bit of an illness yourself.
It's okay.
You had some poop problems. We've made a big deal of the fact that Dan won't do any road trips. He won't poop on the road anywhere other than his house or his hotel room. Well, he broke that streak tonight just before the podcast.
While at dinner with Jay.
That was great. You sat down. You're like, I'll see you. I gotta order quick. I gotta go.
Ordered the halibut. I said, sir, I gotta jettison. Went to the facilities, and the streak came to a crashing halt.
How long? What we discussed it? You figure
probably 4 or 5 years.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah, it was.
I break that streak every day. Every day I'm looking for public toilets. I'm like Costanza in downtown Toronto. Like, is there a public toilet? Need to order something, sir, please.
Well, speaking of which, since we are on the subject, I heard this during the Briar.
Big deuce here.
I was just about to do an update, and that came on. And,
can we hear that again, Katie?
Big deuce here.
Why does that make me laugh so much? By the way, where's Christoph this week, Mike? Jamaica. Oh, Christoph takes like a vacation every month.
Wow. So he's been to Australia since the podcast. We're only 25 episodes in. He's been to Australia. Now he's going to Jamaica.
Jay went away, and you and I are just stuck at home.
Yeah.
Etobicoke and Oshawa.
Well, there's nice vacation destinations, especially the Schwa. Toolsy we went out for dinner with Jeremy Taggart before the podcast, and Toolsy was defending the honor of the Oshawa Mall.
The OC, the Oshawa Center. It's a good mall.
That's the slogan. That's what it says. It's a good mall. Excellent.
It's one of those hidden gems. But if you go to the Whitby Mall, yeah, that's terrifying.
Hey, Whitby, your mall sucks.
You go there to get your passport done, that's it. And then you run.
God.
I got to take off my jacket.
Yeah, it's hot in here. We have a lot of things going on. A couple of our interns are in here interviewing us about the podcast and our lives. Luke and Carly. Carly, you may remember, was in one of our sketches on SportsCenter. She's the one
I wasn't there that night.
She was the one who asked me, "What's my name? What's my name on right?"
They aren't interviewing us during the podcast. They're doing it off mic.
We might have them come in and tell us what they really think of us and TSN. And
I want to know.
they brought us some energy drinks, though.
Yeah, let's crack these.
It's really nice of them. Good kids.
Don't know how this is going to interact with my tummy troubles.
Oh, it'll help, that carbonation.
Big deuce here.
It's pretty good. Pretty good. So Katie's on the controls. Did we establish that?
No, I don't think we did. Hey, Katie's back. Hey, Katie. She's back. Ready to crush it. Meanwhile, Christoph is
Crushing Bob Marley's left and right.
He's rolled up the fattest joint, and he's on the beach. Like, I'm
Have
so
you ever
glad.
Have you ever been to Jamaica?
Never have. I'd
Highly
love to go.
recommend it. You can drink the water there.
Okay.
So some of the places when you hear you can't drink the water, so you're in the shower and you've got your mouth shut, you're fearing one drop
You're
of
wearing
water.
like a Bane mask in the shower.
Exactly.
I'm going to take the shower now.
So you don't have to do that in Jamaica, and everywhere you go, people are offering you
Weed.
everything under the sun. As soon as you get off the plane, they're like, Bob Marley, man. Bob Marley, man. I'm like, I'm okay.
I'd love to go.
Jerk everything.
Like,
Jerk wings.
Oh, I thought you were like
Jerk
talking
chicken.
about something else.
Jerk
there.
burgers. They had the Jamaican bobsled bar.
Oh,
And they have
Cool Runnings is it called?
I think so. I don't know. And they got a Margaritaville.
Oh, Buffett.
Yeah.
Buffett has like 1 million of those everywhere.
Oh yeah, he's rolling.
You
in it.
okay over there? You don't look so good.
I'm
Tulsi's
fine.
got that face like I'm about to pee my pants.
Big deuce here.
Love how we had the crowd noise too in the background.
I know. It's awesome.
So yeah, he's gonna have fun. If you fly from Toronto, it's a pretty quick flight, and it's a good time. A lot of Americans go down there for like a 3-4 day weekend. And I was sitting at the pool bar. This is the last time I was there. This is before children, and so my wife and I went down for a nice trip.
Just nonstop sex.
Not really. So these guys got there from Pittsburgh, and I turned to my right, and they had rolled, and this is without a word of a lie, about 1.5 foot long joint.
1.5 feet.
Maybe a foot. A Subway foot. So a Subway sandwich foot's like 8 inches, right? I think that's what they established.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they rolled up one of those, and I had never seen that. And 2 of them proceeded to just smoke the entire thing to the very end.
They crushed it right to the filter.
I don't know how they're alive. Or they may not be. That was one of the trips where one of the guys in the bus from the airport to the hotel, another guy from Toronto, we met him. And we never saw him until the last day. I guess the first day he went out, and this happens a lot when people go on vacation. You go into that tropical sun, didn't put any sunscreen on the top of the feet.
Oh.
He got like 3rd-degree burns. Like his feet bubbled.
John Candy and Summer Rental.
So
That's a good base.
lotion the feet up.
Yeah, get that SPF 90 on there. Speaking of Americans, Dan, I just wanted that the American I was talking about last week who said he doesn't understand any of our references just tweeted me and said, "The podcast has increased my knowledge of Canadian provinces. I now know that there is a North Battleford, but not a South Battleford. Just Battleford. I may be the only American to know that." It's true.
A lot of people came to my defense in talking about Spike from Degrassi Junior High.
Oh,
A
whatever.
A lot of people were saying,
whatever.
Toolsy, bang on, Spike, hot.
Yeah, right.
They were. And then one guy, I forgot to save this tweet. Maybe I did. Let me see if it's still in here.
Whatever.
The one guy says, so let me get this straight. Toolsy doesn't like Mila Kunitz, but he likes Spike from Degrassi Junior High. You are a bizarre individual.
You are a bizarre individual. Yeah, a lot of people, I will give you this. People did concur that she does look great now. She looks really good now. She looked like a pig back
No,
then.
she didn't. Way wrong. Wrongsies.
Oh, my God. Gentili showed me a picture of her. She looks
That's
like Oingo Boingo. She looks like Electro from Spider-Man, the old Spider-Man cartoon.
What's Oingo Boingo?
Remember Weird Science? Well, Danny Elfman, who did the Simpsons theme and all that,
Okay.
that was his like 80s new wave band. They were kind of big for a while.
I was watching the old Spider-Man cartoon the other day.
We might have to use that for TV Theme Vault at some point. I don't think we've used that one.
Okay.
I went to see our old friend Jeremy Hotz at Massey Hall
Yes,
in
you
Toronto
did on Saturday night. And your review, 1 out of 10. What do you score?
8 out of 10, I'd say.
Nice.
The thing that was fascinating is it didn't seem like he had any act. He just came out on stage and he found this one kid wearing a hoodie, and then he just talked to him the whole night, and that was the whole show, and it was hilarious. He was great. And thankfully, he didn't spot me in the crowd because I sent him a tweet after. I said, "Great show," and I didn't fart once. He replied, "Good for you, Jay."
Oh, he did respond.
Oh, yeah. I think he was unhappy that I somehow made it into that show.
Oh, yeah. He says, no chance you're getting a ticket.
No, he was a good guy. I enjoyed him.
Coming up on this episode 25, for the first time ever,
Oh, this is huge. We've been trying to get this guy on.
Bob McKenzie.
Number 20. Gentili put this together. He's number 20 on Sports Illustrated's top 20 people in sports media. Now, that's North America. That's like everyone. He's the only Canadian on the list.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty amazing. That's bigger than him passing the 500,000 Twitter follower mark, which we made a little bit of a deal out.
I want to ask him about that because I'm sure he just loved that story.
I don't think that made him very comfortable.
No, he's like an unassuming gentleman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he is. He's an unassuming gentleman who will never, ever have you to his cottage. We're going to ask him about that.
He's just kidding around.
No, I don't think he is. I think he genuinely doesn't want to socialize with you.
Huh.
What is it about you that you think that makes him not want to have you come over? Is it because you're from Peterborough? He's worried that you're going to bring the big city to the cottage?
Probably just thinks I'm weird. I don't know.
Well, we're excited to have him on. And I believe he's going to be on in between the second and third intermission of the Wednesday night hockey game between the Habs and Sens.
After, because
is
he's
it
on
after?
He's on during the intermission.
Oh, after the third period. Beginning of the third period. Oh, I see. Oh, right. He's on during intermission.
That's
right.
when he does his job.
Right. I guess I should have thought that through. Never really thought that one through at all. So that'll be good.
And people, I referred to the loops, Kamloops, as the loops on the show, and people, I guess, do call it that.
Yeah, people were confirming that we were okay calling it the loops. That's for Kelly Olnick from Gonzaga.
So, yeah, correcting a few things, but the one I really wanted to correct was Spike, and how everyone agreed.
Disagreed with you and thought she looked like Electro.
And someone asked for an update. They said I left them hanging in episode 2 about my laser eye consult. I'm lazy. I haven't got back to it. I have to go get it done at some point. And someone said, why don't you just wear glasses? And I said, well, you can't just wear glasses, then not wear glasses, and then... Because you need consistency on TV.
I don't know why you don't... Why? Why can't you just wear glasses on occasion?
Because our boss said, wear them or you don't. Can't go wishy-washy.
John Lou switches it up. What do you... Maybe John Lou's maybe a little more valuable at Canada's leader than you are.
I think he's proven that.
He's a great dresser.
Old man Toolsy. That wasn't old. Well, I'm going to probably be launching one of those fit attacks this show. But something may actually come out. And sorry to get back to my car. It's about to hit 400,000.
Oh. Oh my God. What was that? Wow. Oh, Toolsy.
Sorry about that.
Wow.
It's the Nas.
Wow. That was
literally
disgusting.
Came from my throat.
Wow.
Wash that down.
We've had a lot of good suggestions for
But
charity.
here's the thing. So I asked some people around our work, and because I just wanted one of these charities to take it over, run it, so I don't have to do a thing.
Yeah.
Checked with work. They're like, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to fill this. I'm like, well, it seems like a lot of work now.
Well, no, there's only one TSN's Charity Special Olympics, right? So
Yes.
they want you to specifically give the money to them, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be great, but then I got sounds like a lot of work.
Well, you might have to make an effort for
Well,
once.
can someone just do it for me?
Who's going to do it for
I
you?
don't know.
There's no one. We have no one at Bell Media. We just bought Astral for $1 billion, so we have no money.
I'd love to hear the pitch to someone taking over the charge at Special Olympics. So what's the fundraiser? A bunch of people want to poop in this guy's car. Could you set up a website?
I like the one, and I think it was from someone in the Battlefords about taking the car out onto the lake.
Loved it.
What was that one? Tell us that one.
Go park it on a lake out there somewhere.
In the middle of the winter.
That's right. Put a camera, a dashboard cam that you can access anywhere in Canada on the interweb, and place bets, a 50-50, as to when the ice breaks and the car sinks. But then you'd have environmentalists, oh, he's going to leave the car there?
Yeah. I love how environmentalists sound like Twitter complainers, too.
It's a reef. They'll set up a new man-made reef in the middle of Saskatchewan.
And it'll become a tourist attraction. There's a lot in that car down there.
There's the other thing. Oh, so you're putting all that crap in there?
Oh, you're pooping in our lakes.
So I've got to guess place some phone calls or send some emails. I don't know who to call.
You're like incompetent. You can't do anything. Can't you just collect the money and give them a check?
But people, I don't know if they want a tax receipt. I don't know.
Well, just lie. Just say, here's a tax receipt. Just give them a piece of paper with tax receipt written on it. They won't know the difference.
It's a tax receipt. There's no tax receipt number. Here, I'll give you one.
It's all right. This is it. Hey, Frank D'Angelo has a new album out, Toolsy.
Oh. It's making waves in the charts.
Well, this is the thing. The first single, and this is the press release we got, the first single released just 2 weeks ago, Just Give Me One More Moment. All indications point to Frank D'Angelo's 5th album, Just Give Me One More Moment, to be another success with fans and radio stations alike. Let's give it a listen, Katie. Yeah. You like that, girl?
That sets the mood.
There it is. I had some rapini on the stove.
Where do you want me to put this?
Frank, long intro here, bud.
What can I say
Ooh.
at the end of a long day?
Sounds a little bit like Tina Turner.
All the things that went bad.
Yeah.
Just
Not
looking
bad.
in your eyes.
Ooh, he's in love.
All that's said.
Okay, Candy, that's...
Can we hear the chorus?
No.
Come on. Crank that back up. Let's
Okay, it's
get
going
to
back.
the chorus.
There we go.
To smooth things over.
It's got backup singers.
Over. Grasping at the love
What?
of a four-leaf clover.
Poignant lyrics.
Just give me one more moment to make things right.
Oh, so this guy really effed up.
Yeah, butchered it.
He's coming out. He says, give me one more chance. Come on.
Probably showed up back at home. He had it all over his car.
He birthed the rapini.
His wife was like, that's it, it's over. And then he put pen to paper on this chart topper. My favorite thing, though, is that his A&R guy for his record company, Universal Records, Jeff Burns, says, quote, Frank is a great Canadian artist who has not had the exposure he deserves in Canada. Yeah, when I think of Frank D'Angelo, lack of exposure is exactly his problem. He's only on every commercial ever made.
Oh, what are we using for the bleep this week?
Oh, yeah, the woo was really popular last week, wasn't it? Maybe we could use beautiful because I say it a lot.
We're going to get to that.
Oh, okay. I thought we were getting to that.
We could use perk. Or is it too...
I think it's a little too, Gentilly doesn't think it's a good idea. What else could we use?
I'm looking through our list here. I don't... We can go back to
how about your
ideas.
how about your little guttural burp? you had
Yeah, how
earlier?
about that one? So we... Okay, the guttural burp.
All right, we're going with that. Just disgust everyone.
Did Did you want to do more on Frank here? Because I just wanted to read this one tweet after
Sure, go ahead.
we did our Dodge Dart. We haven't heard from the Chrysler Corporation about our pitch to Dodge
I thought it was really good.
to sponsor the podcast.
It was like Don Draper making a pitch.
So these guys, Gage MacRae, said they drive a Dodge Dart on the ice during intermissions of Sens games. I immediately think of Jay and Dan. Hashtag going for a dart. See?
I don't think they're calling us.
No?
No, I don't think it's happening. I did meet with some people, and I
Ooh.
can't say who it is. Met with a company last week. They're really interested in sponsoring our podcast, so it's just right around the corner, Toolsy.
That sounds pretty vague. Met with the company. I can't say who.
It depends. We got to wear diapers.
Oh, that's why I wanted to do the opening thing. I forgot. I wanted to do diapers. Because that fit perfectly.
Well, it would be great for you right now. You could just be pooping your
No,
pants.
everything's good down in the sanctum.
Thanks to the NOS that Luke and Carly got us.
And what a wonderful meal we went for before. I had some halibut. Fresh as can be.
Big deuce here.
Toolsy.
There's a new pope in charge.
Oh, yeah. Did you watch this coverage
Oh, yeah.
today?
Well, I was all over that.
Oh, big time. Mike,
Took
did
them
you watch
forever.
that too?
You're like, come on, guys.
Get it going. They turned the light on. Everyone was like, okay, here we go. They turned the light on. They woke him up. He's coming out. No. Another 20 minutes. Had to get him in the robes and the cap.
If I was pope, I'd just switch it all up and just come out just guns ablaze.
What do you mean? Like
a
shoot
rock star?
everyone?
No, but he comes out and they just do a slight smile.
Wouldn't it be great if we just opened fire and the...
No, but you'd be like, woohoo!
Yeah, I'm the Pope, baby! Bow to me, Catholicism!
Shotgun a Keystone Light.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I guess he'd shotgun some red wine since they'd have it ample supply.
I'm shotgunning the blood of Christ!
I wonder what the Vatican's wine cellar's like. Must be massive.
Oh, yeah, but it's all the same. It's all the same wine.
Oh.
It's all the same house wine.
So I was speculating after the Cardinals elected the new pope, probably just a huge shaker.
Oh, yeah, big time show at the Vatican.
I'm serious.
Yeah, crushing communion wafers, putting back tons of red wine.
Going to town on wine.
Yeah. They're eating communion wafers like Pringles, and they probably come in similar style boxes. You just pop it open, it's fresh. Munch on them. It's always weird when you go to a Catholic wedding, and then you're like, do I go? Should I go up?
You're Catholic, though.
Yeah, I know, but then I'm always like, should I go? All right, I'll go.
Yeah, you got it.
Until he's like, no, forget it. Yeah, it tastes like God. What does it taste like?
Unleavened bread.
Yeah, it's like just eating dough.
Hard dough.
It's gross. It's really bad. They should at least give you some dip. They gave everyone a little container of dip, right?
Apologize to all
Here's-
Catholics who are offended by this current conversation.
Well, we're Catholics, so we can make fun. See, that's our only excuse. We can make fun of our own religion.
I was an altar boy, so yeah. I know the inner workings.
That sounded bad. People are going to take that the wrong way.
We better change this subject.
I was also an altar boy.
You were?
Yep. I was. Yeah. Well, because I was so bored in there, I was like, all right, I'll go help.
Me
pour
and
the
my
wine.
buddy were actually pumped when we first became altar boys. We lived in the country. We'd ride our bikes over, do it in the morning mass before school. We were like,
What do you mean, do it in the morning, Matt?
like
What are you saying? What are you saying?
we would go be altar boys for the morning mass.
Oh, I thought you meant.
So that's how bored we were.
I thought you were talking about something else. Before school, you're an altar boy.
Can't wait for this entire conversation to be edited out of the podcast.
Oh, speaking of this, Mike Francesca from the WFAN in New York City, kind of a pseudo-famous radio guy in the States. Used to be a Mike and the Mad Dog. Now he's solo. And this is him watching CNN and trying to communicate with his listeners exactly what is happening at the Vatican on Wednesday afternoon.
I don't see anything printed on the screen. I don't have the sound on, folks. I can't tell you what it says. Oh, these guys couldn't understand what he was saying inside, so they didn't put up a graphic yet, so we don't have a graphic. The cardinal from, this is it, the archbishop, well, he's an archbishop, though. Oh, well, this is it, cardinal, this is the pope? From Buenos Aires, from Argentina, he's it? Is that it? So Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio. He's the new pope. The cardinal from Argentina. Okay, so the cardinal from Argentina, 76-year-old pope. So they went for an older pope. Okay, so Cardinal Burge. You guys will tell me when they say it inside how you say his name, and then we'll find out what his papal name. But basically, the cardinal from Argentina. There might be two. I don't even know if there are two from Argentina. But the cardinal from Argentina, the 76-year-old cardinal from Argentina, is the new pope. So, I don't know how you say his name to be exact, So that is
Just
it.
Pope now. He is going
The
Pope.
Argentinian cardinal is the new pope. He is 76 years old. So, let's see if I get a little bio on him as to what kind of pope we're talking about. As far as what they say
What kind
about
of
him.
pope do we have
I have
here?
a short list here. I don't even know if he was on the short list. Let me see if he was.
Was he on the short list?
Well, I know that this is the thing. We had a little papal office pool at
I
work.
wanted to ask you about this. So I came up with the original idea. I said 115 names in a hat, $5 a name to pull a name out. Did they go that way?
No, we had
okay.
like 20, the top 20 contenders is what we had, but we didn't have the guy who became Pope Francis. We didn't have him on the list, so nobody won.
I told you couldn't do the contenders because
No,
they
there
always
wasn't.
go off the list.
No, we had like 20, top 20. I had O'Malley from the States. Dutchie had Mark Ouellette.
Oh, I was hoping
Yeah, the
for
Canadian.
that. So you blew it.
Yeah, I
Didn't go with my idea.
big time blew it.
Again, it was me being lazy. I would have had to write down 115 names, find 115 people. I don't even know that many people.
Well, and we don't have 115 people working at Canada's Leader at night.
At night, no.
Yeah, like in general we do, but not at night.
We have 3 people in neon shirts wandering around in the background.
Poor Limey, still crawling on that dirty floor, looking for something, looking for his dreams.
So Jay is referring to a something that we pointed out. A gentleman in our brick billboard. He's crawling under, getting something on the ground, and then popping up back to his seat. So it's the same footage over and over. Someone tweeted me this past week and asked that. Is that the same footage, or is that guy always on the ground? I'm like,
God.
really? You're asking that question?
Yeah, someone was. Toolsy.
We need to shoot a new billboard.
Do you want to get into this? Do we have Bob now, or do you want wait a little bit? Oh, do we have time to get into the Kensington thing? Okay, so let's. This is Toolsy blowing his nose with glasnost era paper towels. Bell providing us with used paper towels from the Stalin era in Russia.
Tim and Eric did a movie. We've mentioned before that we're big Tim and Eric fans. And in their $1 billion movie, they take over a mall.
It's the Oshawa Mall.
And one of the stores in the mall is a guy selling reused toilet paper.
Can you pass me some of that Glasnost era?
I think I've got my snot all over it.
Oh,
though.
no, you don't have any fresh stuff? You got a clean spot on
No,
there?
there's
Toolsy's
right in the middle here.
Toolsy's going to cut me off a clean piece of this stuff that
Why, you need it too?
Yeah, Gorbachev used to rub down his head when he got too shiny.
So this guy in the movie he got old toilet paper
This is really what it sounds like.
and he dried it out and tried to resell used toilet paper. It's a good movie. $1 billion movie. We watched it during the craft tour and
It is.
I cried.
It is very funny. Some of you might not think it's as funny as we do. Speaking of funny, so I did this video for the Kensington Market Business Association.
I've never seen this. I've heard a lot of things.
So Kensington Market, it's a National Historic District. It's an open-air market in Toronto.
It's a historic district?
Yeah, it's a National Historic District. It's an area of Toronto. It was originally like a Jewish food market, and now it's everything. It's Latin American foods and butcher shops and cheese shops and everything. So I was asked by the Business Association to do a video for it. So I went out and did it one day, and for some reason, I couldn't stop using the same adjective to describe everything. Katie? beautiful women's clothing on this side. And then look at these beautiful silkscreen t-shirts. The Bungalow is a beautiful store. There's Bungalow, and then across the street here on Augusta, there's Bungalow West. If you want beautiful teak vintage furniture from the 60s or 70s, these are beautiful little posters. What a beautiful little store. My avocados, which will ripen into beautiful, beautiful avocado. Beautiful cheese. I mean, look at this beautiful deli counter. Miss Cora has made me a beautiful mini cupcake here.
What a beautiful things.
What a douche.
How did it go over? How long is that video?
13 minutes. It's just me saying beautiful for 13 minutes. I thought it was okay.
I'm going to have to watch where can we see the full edition?
You can see it, go to my Facebook page, and it's on there. And you can also see it on YouTube. It's on YouTube as well. And it's on my website, jayonwright.com.
How are you liking the Facebook?
I think it's awful.
I wanted you to say that.
It's so bad. I mean, for years I was never on Facebook, and I got on it. I can't lie to everyone. I got on it because I want to promote my book that's coming out this fall. And it's just terrible. Like it's people posting pictures of their kids. That's the whole thing. Is Bob McKenzie? Bob, are you on Facebook? Bob McKenzie?
Facebook. Facebook. No. I'm not on the Facebook. I'm just on the Twitter, not the Facebook.
That's probably for the best, Bob.
The king of the Twitter, Bobby, you hit over 500,000 followers. And
it was really hard work, too.
we did a big story on you. I'm sure you loved all that.
Yeah, I love the attention. I just can't get enough of it. Just like to talk about myself and my Twitter all the time.
What was your initial reaction when they came to you and said, Bob, we're going to do a 2-minute piece on SportsCenter, a contest?
I said, give me an effing break. That's what I said. No, it was a painful period in my life. I'm just trying to forget it now. Actually, you know what? I don't actually mind the contest because it's kind of cool for, hey, you know, we joke about it and everything else. But it is nice when somebody, you know, just an average fan who follows the game and who follows all of us on Twitter and watches TSN, he kind of gets to come in and spend a day. But I did specify that a day with Bob McKenzie doesn't start in the morning. It starts when I get to work in the afternoon, so be forewarned.
But, Bob, you do a lot of things during the day. You're doing radio hits all day, then you've got to go work the NHL on TSN. You guys have actual meetings and such. If someone hung out with Jay and I'd be terrified because they'd go home and say, these guys don't do anything.
Yeah, well, you just be in your robe, Jay's robe with his...
It's true. Mind. It's true. Yeah, it's probably for the best. We don't go too deep into that one. I think, what about the top 20 Sports Illustrated list? I almost think that's a bigger accomplishment because that's all sports media in North America.
That one kind of came out of left field. Richard Deitcher does a really good media column for Sports Illustrated, and I never expected to see my name on that. Not that, you know, those things count for anything. They're highly subjective, but hey, it's always nice to get mentioned, all those American legends or whatever, and just to get an honorable mention at the bottom end of a top 20 list in terms of influential media or whatever. I guess it never hurts.
You know what? It does come in handy, Bob. Contract time.
Yeah, well, I guess I kind of blew that because I did a multi-year deal with TSN. I won't have to negotiate another contract. When my contract expires, so do I.
Whoa. That can't be right.
No, you're going to come back.
No. When it's done, it's done. I'll be like, I'm like old as hell. Old as hell.
Bobby, this didn't happen overnight. Guide us through your first job reporting on the NHL.
First job reporting on my first full-time job was covering junior hockey in Sault Ste. Marie. Summer of 70, I had a summer job between second and third year Ryerson, and I got it at the Sault Star. And I worked news all summer. And there were 2 weeks that I got to do sports at the Sault Star. And one of the weeks was when Wayne Gretzky went to the WHA, and the other week was when Craig Hartsburg and the other guys that became famously known as the Baby Bowl signed with Birmingham at the WHA. So that was my 2-week stint in sports that summer. And they hired me full-time when I graduated, but in the sports department, and I covered junior hockey for a couple of years in the Sioux.
Now, Bobby, from your time when which you began reporting on the NHL to now, it's obviously changed leaps and bounds. You go to a Leaf game now, a pregame skate, and there's 40,000 media there as opposed to just a handful back in the day. Do you like it now? Do you like it better now, or do you like it back when it was just mostly just scribes?
It's probably a little bit of both. Or sometimes I yearn for the simpler days, but then when I think about going on the road with the Sioux Greyhounds, and I had to take a typewriter, and I had to take paper and carbon to put in between because you had to make copies, and then if you were on the road, you also had something called a telecopier, which was the forerunner of a fax machine, which is bigger than a fax machine, and it's a little drum that you attach your written copy to, a page, and it took 4 to 6 minutes per page to file as you took an old rotary dial phone with the old acoustic coupler and jammed it in there. So you would write a 3 or 4 page story, double-spaced, and it would take you 6 minutes per page to send it. And then when it got back to your office, somebody would have to re-input it. So like standing at a phone booth in the cold with an extension cord running out from a motel to try and file a Sioux Greyhound post-game story, I don't yearn for those days.
Wow.
So life's pretty good. And you had to spend a ton of time talking to people on the phone. The best thing now about this job is you don't actually have to talk to people. You can just text them and email them, and it's awesome. So if you're antisocial like I am some days, you really could get all sorts of information and never speak to anybody.
So speaking of which, how many people in the industry, talking GMs and scouts and agents, would you text or talk to in any given day?
I don't know. I don't ever keep track of that. You just, you know what you do? You try to just stay on top of what's percolating. You know, who do you know is on the verge of signing a contract or might be signing a contract, and when things break or any news breaks. Hold on a second. We have a special guest just stepped into the podcast. 1 second here. Here he is. When this guy wants to talk, I give him the phone. Here he is.
Hey, how are you? You got your rubber boots on tonight? Hey, you like the dunk tank?
Duffy, what's up?
And Duffy's gone.
Oh, thank God.
Just like that. Adam Sandler, Duffy is gone. He actually looks more like Ben Stiller, and than he does sound like Adam Sandler, but that's fine.
He looks also a little bit like Blossom's alcoholic older brother, too, but we won't go too deep into that. Bob, your son is now, I want to say one thing about your son, Sean. I was speaking at the College of Sports Media Broadcasting School in Toronto, and your son came up to me after, introduced himself. We had a nice chat. He's such a nice kid, and so that's a testament to how well you raised him. But at the same time, you weren't able to keep him from entering our business. He's decided to go into our business. He's doing some work for us now. Was there any point when he was in high school and he was saying to you, I really want to get into the same biz you are, where you were like, don't you dare do that. Get into something else.
No, I just warned him of all the bad hours and the low money to start and all those things. But all this, but you know what? Kids that go into this business, they don't want to hear old farts like me or you or anybody else say, "Don't do it, don't do it." That's what every guy that goes to talk at a journalism school or a broadcast school, they always say. Well, first thing you should know is there's no jobs for any of you, and none of you can make any money, and that young people really like to hear that from old people. So I just told him, I said, hey, listen, it's a grind. It's difficult, but you know what, if that's what you want to do. But he doesn't want to do what I'm doing. He doesn't want to be an insider. That's too much work for him. He wants to be what you guys are. Now, I should point out, and we can't, just being a TSN broadcast and all, he has a new job, but he no longer works for our network. He works for another network that shall remain nameless, and he just moved to Winnipeg, so we'll just leave it at that. But it's nice to see that he's off and running, and one of the great things about being an old fart like me is your kids growing up and getting good jobs, and my son Mike's an assistant coach with the Kitchener Rangers after 4 years of college hockey and a 2-year pro career playing, and now he's into the coaching side of it, and my son Sean is starting out his broadcast career, and looks to me like he's got some real good potential. So it's all good for an old guy like me, and my wife deserves all the credit for raising them because I was mostly working when they were growing up.
And if he needs to know anything about Winnipeg, Jay's the go-to guy. That's where he cut his teeth as well.
And
Yeah, that's what I heard. I was just out there on the weekend getting them settled, and everybody said, Jay who?
Well, it's such a great city. It's such an underrated city, I think, but also in terms of starting out, I mean, you really couldn't pick a better place. You have two big universities with great college hockey programs, and you have the Jets, obviously, and the Blue Bombers, so that's a great place.
Terrific. It's terrific. I hadn't spent any considerable time in Winnipeg since World Juniors in 1999, and it was just a weekend. But boy, oh boy, I really enjoyed it, and it has a much bigger city feel to it now than it did even back then. When the last time I spent two and a half weeks there, and the Jets obviously have something to do with that, and the fact that MTS Center is downtown has something to do with that. But it's got a great vibe, and it's a great city.
Rob. Bob.
You can call me Rob.
I wanted to rapid fire because I was going to say Rob and Bob at the same time. That's rapid fire and Bob. Anyway, I digress, Bob. Rapid fire here. A few questions. Your favorite event to cover, that one where you look at on the calendar, like be it the Olympics, be it the NHL draft, be it Trade Center, be it the Stanley Cup playoffs. Which one, if you could handpick to do, which would it be?
I love the Olympics. I love the World Juniors. But the one day, and I always have the same thought, is during the anthem of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, I always take a moment to reflect, look around the arena. Place is charged up wherever we are. It doesn't matter what city it's in, what country it's in. Everybody's fired up because it's Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I always take a moment to pause, look around, and say, I got the best job in the world. This is awesome. And that's a little exercise that I do. So I probably would say that special moment for me is Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final every year.
Draft day must be great for you, too, because seeing these guys just starting their career after you followed them, because you are an encyclopedia when it comes to junior players.
Yeah, that's like, because we do so much NHL stuff over the course of the year, researching the draft, it's almost like cramming for an exam. So I hate to say it, but what I do is I study, I cram, I write the exam, which is the draft itself. And then once it's over, I tend to forget a lot of it, which is unfortunate, but that's part of the territory. But the draft's a lot of fun, and I guess the things that I do, I mean, I cover the NHL on a daily basis, and that's a lot. But the other two things that I guess are sort of signature things for me are World Juniors and draft, and they're obviously related because there's so many great draft-eligible guys playing at the World Juniors. But it's nice to have something else besides just the grind of the NHL season to go to.
Number of contacts in your phone. I know they don't list them by number, but if you were to guess.
No clue. I wouldn't even hazard a guess.
All right, let's get into, really briefly, I want to get into the upcoming trade deadline. And everyone's talking about Corey Perry, especially because he was suspended today. Bob, is there any conceivable way? I see Kevin Allen of USA Today, one of your colleagues, saying there's no way the Ducks will trade Corey Perry before the deadline. Do you share the same opinion?
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult deal to do, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. I mean, he might sign in Anaheim. I kind of doubt it, but, that'll be for him to decide. There's going to be a lot of pressure for him to do that, take a deal very similar to Getzlaf's, if not the same deal. But I've thought all along that he'll probably go to free agency in the summer. And if he does, then it's up to Bob Murray to sort it out. And you never know what he couldn't even begin to tell you what he'd do himself until he sees what the offers are. And keep in mind, if Perry is going to July 1st or this year, July 5th, the return on him is, anybody that's trading for him knows they're only going to have him as a rental. And maybe the inside track on getting him signed in the summer, that'll affect the price that the Ducks get. And again, it comes back if Bob Murray thinks, well, you know what? We could win the cup with this guy in our lineup. Let's hold on to him. But also keep in mind, Bob Murray's a GM who lost Justin Schultz for nothing last year. Not his fault, just the technicality of the CBA and the kid's desire to be a free agent. But I think he was a little agitated at losing a quality asset like that for nothing, and that might influence how he views this whole Corey Perry thing and the possibility of him walking away in July and Anaheim getting nothing in return.
But Bob, I look at Pittsburgh and they're somehow able to get Malkin and Crosby, and I realize that maybe they're playing for a little bit less than they would if they went to the open market. But how does he's only 27. I think that's the amazing thing that people forget. Perry's only 27. He's already won a Hart Trophy. I mean, this guy he plays like Ken Linsman with skill. I just can't understand how you could possibly let this kid go for anything, for any amount of players or anything.
Yeah, you might be right in that. So then it comes back to, can you, as an organization, is the cap going to be sufficient to allow yourself to pay Getzlaf $8.25 million if you give Perry market value and might be up $9 million or more? Can a team like Anaheim spend, $17, $18, $19 million on two players up front and still have the wherewithal to build a team around them? So these are all things that Perry has to decide, that the Ducks have to decide, and I couldn't honestly tell you where it'll end up, but I've kind of thought all along Perry will go to the UFA.
Bobby, your take on this shortened season, I love it. There's about 7 games a night, so there's always a ton of highlights.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think the intensity's been great. It really does feel like, it's a cliche. We've been saying the sprint to the finish, but it's felt like that right from the get-go. I think the teams are playing it that way. I think that everything is magnified. And I think most of the hockey's been really good. I mean, everybody in this game always finds fault with everything, but I think it's been fast and hard-hitting and intense, and some people say there's not enough goals, but even some of the best games I've seen this year have been 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-2 games. So I don't put too much stock in how many goals are being scored. Was that a good game? Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed it, and I've seen more good games than bad games.
Bob, we're going to let you go. One more final question before we do. Odds of Dan O'Toole ever getting an invite to your beautiful Ontario cottage?
Well,
there's a
not
well.
Not very good. Not very good.
Do I bring a sleeping bag when I come, or is there sleeping?
Yeah, you can bring a sleeping bag for up the road, because that's where you'll be staying. And if it makes you feel any better, no TSN executives other than the Quizmaster, who I knew in a previous life before TSN, have ever been invited to the cottage. So don't feel bad, Dan.
Has Duthie been there?
Jay's chances of getting to the cottage aren't great either, but has who been there?
Has Duthie?
Never.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
That makes us feel better, Bob.
Okay, good. Dreger has, though. He came up and did Dreger face, and that was it.
Thanks, Bob. We appreciate you joining us.
Awesome, boys. Enjoy the podcast.
Thank you.
It's Bob McKenzie, Hockey Insider. You just have to say Bob McKenzie. Everyone knows who the hell he is. I remember seeing him when I did Ottawa 67's games for our college radio station, for Algonquin College. We were in Oshawa doing the 67s and generals. And so it was the end of the first period, and people are filing up past us, past our broadcast booth, and I see Bobby. He's there. So my color commentary's like, should we ask him to come on? We're like, I don't know. Should we ask him? We didn't have the sack to go ask him.
Didn't have the sack. You're no Kaspar's Dogovins.
No, so me and my color guy just broke down the first period, which was just horrible radio. And let Bobby just walk on by.
We keep saying, I've listened to some of the tapes of you doing play-by-play for the Fort McMurray Oil Barons. We want to get those, somehow transfer those in a way that we can listen to them on the podcast at some point.
But we have no way to transfer cassette tapes.
There must be. There's got to be. Katie's saying yes.
We could bring a microphone into my car and play the cassette.
We could do that. Yeah, that would be
See,
good
the
quality.
transferring of these tapes seems to be as much as a problem as setting up a charity in which to donate my car. See, it's the whole thing. It takes a lot of legwork or a lot of phone calls or something.
I want to bring Luke and Carly in here very briefly to just ask them about their internship at TSN. Can we do that?
Of course
Can
we can.
do that? So Luke and Carly, come on in here. While we're doing that...
Why don't we do our old commercial campaign in the meantime while they get set up?
Yeah, while they're getting set up, Katie,
I feel
do you
like
have
Chicken
this one
Tonight.
ready?
I feel like Chicken Tonight was a big one.
That was a huge hit.
stuck in a lot of people's heads.
Yeah.
I never knew there was a song in which this product was associated with that we're going to discuss here.
I remember it so well, and yeah, it's not quite as well, obviously not as well known as Chicken Tonight, but give this one a listen.
You're in the big league. When you make a perfect play, you're in the big league. When you keep the team alive, you're in the big league. When you block a shot or two, you're in the big league. When you're in the big league chew.
Big League Chew, man-sized wads of great tasting shredded bubble gum stuffed into a giant Stay Fresh pouch. For Big League flavor and Big League bubbles, it's Big League Chew.
You're in the big league. When you're in the big league chew.
That product's still around.
That jingle sounded like when you're sliding into first and you're feeling something burst, diarrhea.
So it's Big League Chew. I love that product. I always tried to fit the entire packet of gum in my mouth at one sitting. Not sitting.
Bit weird that they were marketing something that was supposed to be chewing tobacco to young children.
That's right. That's like the Popeye cigarettes.
Yeah.
Now they're just called candy sticks.
Candy sticks. Yeah, producer Tim was lamenting the switchover. He'd prefer if they were still cigarettes.
Well, they even had like the little burning part on the end. They had little red on the end.
Little red on the end. That's right. So Carly and Luke are here. Carly and Luke,
they only have one microphone. They got to share them.
They're going to share. So we go back
Katie,
and forth.
Can we share a
Oh,
mic?
here we go. We got another mic.
Okay.
For Luke. All right.
Okay.
So now, are you guys both going to BCIT? Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so how long was your internship at Canada Sports Leader?
Mine, I interned back in September for 6 weeks.
6 weeks. And Luke, was yours 6 weeks?
And I got mine stretched to 10. I managed to pull some strings.
Okay. And now, Carly, you are now an employee of the network.
Yes. So I went home for about 3 months, waited for the lockout to finish, and then was told there'd be some shifts available for me once hockey was back.
So how long have you officially been with the company?
I started on February 4th.
Okay, so I cannot have conversations with you for at least another 6 months.
Perfect.
So, yeah, Dan is paranoid about having any conversations with any women in the newsroom for fear that someone will sue him.
I know what it's like.
He looks down every time he walks by me.
Because everyone, if you have a conversation with anyone, I know what it's like. So, what are you saying over there? Oh, you got a little crush? Because I've said that to people.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it is, in our newsroom, there are, like, Carly, how many women were in the newsroom compared? There was maybe...
Doing my job as a story editor,
Yeah.
there's me, Kara, and Alex. Yeah, there's like 3 of us.
3, and how many dudes? Like 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About that.
It's an intimidating environment.
It is that must be kind of a weird thing to walk into, no?
Being as in, liking sports as much as I do, I'm sort of used to it just being like a male-dominated industry, so it was really no change for me.
So for both of you, what was your sort of biggest surprise about coming into the newsroom? Maybe we'll start with Luke.
Well, I kind of equate it to the, I don't have any experience with this, but the first day of prison. You know, you walk in, there's no windows anywhere. They tell you sort of how to lay low.
We
don't
ask
touch
you to
the
drop your pants.
Yeah. Don't touch the chairs in the middle of the room.
You can't
get
have
shivved.
the upper bunk.
Yeah, don't stare at the editors and don't make eye contact in the yard.
Right,
you know, those things like that.
Was it? How about you, Carly?
What was the biggest surprise of the newsroom?
Yeah.
It's cleanliness?
Yeah, I was going to say that place is filthy. I had a cold the first week of my internship.
Oh,
and
it'll
the first
never
week
go
of
away.
Yeah, like it's permanent. I sneeze probably on average 17 times a day since I've lived in Toronto now. So
Right.
She packs little Sani wipes for the keyboards now. Real veteran move.
And speaking of cold, I mean, the temperature, right? It's either freezing or it's sauna-like. We can't seem to regulate that. And when we do try to regulate it, we have to call like Newfoundland.
We aren't even kidding. We've discussed this before. We said we have to call New Brunswick to get our temperature changed. They have to write a report and then send it to our building operations in Toronto. We're adults. Can we just get our own thermometer?
That's what's going to happen with your charity. They're going to make you call Newfoundland.
Exactly.
Get it all straightened out there.
It's just a lot of paperwork.
Okay, so Luke and Carly, impressions of producer Tim. You've seen him in the flesh. Was he A, what you expected, and B, what was your overall impression of producer Tim?
Well, my first one-on-one interaction with producer Tim, he comes up to me and goes, hey, what time are you here tonight? I'm like, 11 o'clock. He's like, okay, we're doing a Harlem Shake video. And I said, oh, okay. This is producer Tim. So it was not at all what I was expecting.
Oh, okay. In a good way?
Yeah, like I was pleasantly surprised. I thought he'd be very, businesslike and intimidating, and he seems like a fairly, amiable guy.
No, he's not.
You are so off on that one,
He
Luke.
took the Harlem Shake under his arm because TSN Kate asked him to do it.
Yeah, if we
So
had
that
asked
was
him.
his little project.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as an attractive woman is asking him to do things, then he's a great guy. How about you, Carly? Your thoughts on Tim?
I was expecting him to be a little bit more intimidating, I guess you could say, but like I got my first on-camera experience at TSN from Tim.
That's right. That's right.
He's in my good books forever.
Okay, fair enough. Long-term goals for both of you. What's your ultimate job in this industry?
Well, I love to travel, and I just love the energy of live events. So anything that involves being on the road and being around the arenas, the ballparks, definitely lots on the bucket list to tack off there. So that's where I see myself going right now.
How about you, Carly?
I would love to dabble in sideline reporting with a Major League Baseball team or an NHL team, and then hopefully do the whole anchoring deal one day. But
perfect. Wow, we're not. It's almost over.
We need
for
someone
us.
to take over for Bobby
guys.
when Bobby retires.
Yeah.
You got someone to take. We need someone to take over his reins.
Yeah, but we're going to be gone pretty soon. I mean, this isn't going to go on much longer.
No, this shtick is wearing thin.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, well, thanks, guys. It was nice having you here.
Thank you.
And congrats on everything. And thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Nice people.
That's right. Luke and Carly here to. They're doing a project.
Well, they're interviewing us for their final project as part of the internship.
Luke lent me a USB key once.
Yeah.
For something that we were taping.
Pornography?
No, I had to put one of our little things that we had taped on the desk on it.
Porn?
I forgot my USB key.
Oh, right.
So
that was nice of them.
It's our interaction.
Yeah, they're good people. We get good broadcasting students. We do. And that's how I started.
And now all the creeps, whenever we have a woman on the podcast that they haven't seen, they're like, ooh, what'd you look like?
Yeah, send us a picture.
And first one will be producer Tim.
Yeah. Tim probably doesn't even know what Carly looks like. He'll be like, Carly was on the podcast. Who? She's been here for months, Tim.
Producer Tim saw our producer Mike on the way here because Mike leaves our Scarborough studios and drives downtown to do the podcast. So we're always a bit late getting to work when we tape the podcast. So Mike saw Tim outside the studios, said, "Oh, podcast night?" Mike's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, what time they're going to get here? Around midnight?"
Yeah, he doesn't like
And Mike's like, "Well, I know." He goes, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not producing the show anyway." Like, why? Yeah.
What a
move.
Tim. He's been miserable lately. I've said it like the last 3 podcasts. Something's wrong. Something's off with him. We'll get the scoop. We going to bring Taggart in here for Old Man Stories?
Yeah, should we do TV theme first?
Let's do TV theme, and while we're doing that, we'll bring Taggart in.
Oh,
okay.
I can't wait for this one.
Okay.
It's a cartoon. We've done cartoons in the past. It's about a little monster. I was actually watching it with my daughters yesterday when I was looking after them.
Yeah.
So I put this baby on, and they love it.
Monster of a friend. He's big and blue and scary, but a friendly monster too.
What a little singing this song.
My monster, I love you.
He's always playing
scary tricks. But I know that's okay.
How do you know these lyrics?
He's just having lots of fun in his own monster way.
Wait, it's going to come to a crescendo.
He'll even eat the can. If this sounds gross, please understand. He's my best friend. My pet monster. My very, very bestest friend.
Awful.
My pet monster. A monster of a friend.
Is he farting there? Is that a girl or a boy singing?
It's a good question. So this came out in 1986. The reason I really like it is because it doesn't try to teach kids anything. It's
Right.
just a cartoon.
Yeah, it's just entertaining.
All the cartoons now, don't be nice to people or something. The monster just causes havoc.
Be nice to people.
He goes and eats all the garbage, makes a mess, but then he cleans it up. And Beaster's always trying to bring him back to the monster world, but never, ever succeeds. But it's quite a feat for these 3 kids to hide this little monster.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd be just alone.
Mr. Henkel, was that the neighbor's name? Mr. Henkel, he always is on to them. He's like, hey, there's something going on here. He's got his poodle that is always terrified.
We'll get to a couple more themes in a second, but first we want to welcome our friend Jeremy Taggart to the show.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We have Jeremy in studio with us today.
Yes.
Couple of things. Your thoughts on Toolsy ordering food?
Are we done with My Pet Monster? I'm still analyzing. You didn't.
It's
you wanted
over.
no part.
That was a big
You wanted no
breakdown.
part of My Pet Monster.
You broke it down.
Broke
you
it down.
You explained it all.
It spawned a live-action direct-to-video film.
Really?
Really?
I almost want to see
Who becomes
that now.
the pet monster after being exposed to a statue and changes Incredible Hulk style when a hunger strikes.
This sounds like the wringing of the towel for the guy trying to make the money off of the show.
How a man tries to kidnap him for experimentation, and how his sister helps her brother out of this crisis.
Doesn't seem very. That seems frightening for children.
Any spin-offs?
Yeah. Yeah, any, what did the cast of My Pet Monster go on to do with the rest of their careers?
It only aired for one season.
The cartoon did?
Really?
And 13 episodes, that's it?
What? You've been watching the same 13 shows over and over,
No wonder you
Toolsy?
know so much about it. That's like Inspector Gadget. There's only a few of those, but yet we know every single episode when I was a kid. That's our era. We're 38, 37. That's
Remember it well. I think we did Inspector Gadget, on the Theme Vault, I think?
No, we haven't done that yet.
We haven't done that?
I don't think so.
I thought we had.
Is no one keeping track of these?
No.
Oh,
we're
this could
just
be
throw-
bad.
We're just
The
throwing it out
person
there.
that organizes the charity for me, can they also keep track of what
We
TV
need to
they-
hire. Maybe we can hire Luke to do that because Luke doesn't have a job yet. Carly does. Maybe Luke can run your charity for you and keep track of which TV themes we've done.
So if he runs the charity, he has to do it volunteer.
Yeah,
right?
and he's got to just write tax receipts with a pencil. And just say tax receipt.
Hey, I was right. It is Mr. Henkel.
holy jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
We've
let's-
gone over
yeah,
it
let's
now.
move it. Let's move on to Jeremy's father and some more stories about your dad. Tell us your story this week, Jeremy.
Okay, well, my dad worked at Sears and Rexdale, the warehouse in the maintenance department for 23 odd years. Took the package that they gave him, which was ridiculously sad. And we lived in Weston, just south of Finch, near Emory High School. And I guess one of the small highlights of my dad's day was having a cup of coffee after work. You know, the house was always a shambles of 3 teenage kids, destroying the house, not caring about the looks of the 2-bedroom apartment that we lived with our parents and my 2 brothers. My sister had moved out at the time. So my dad coming home around 3:30, comes in. There's a fresh cream in the fridge. He opens the door. He's already a little tense, as it's been a long day and the house is messy and it's hot. And he pours the cream and realizes it's completely cracked and fresh. He pours the cream, the coffee cream, and he realizes it's curdled. And yet the due date is, probably 2 weeks from now or whatever. It's totally destroyed already. So he gets hot. And for some reason he says, "Get in the car. We're going to Galati Brothers to sort this out." So I go with him, and I didn't want to go in with him. Galati Brothers was a smaller supermarket, and the big glass front windows. I'm sitting in the car, and I see him go in, and I see him standing at the stall, and he's got this carton of half and half. And he goes he's in the lineup, and I see him from the car. He's in the line. He's just steaming, and he finally gets to the cash person, and I see the person like, what would you like? And all he does is hand them the coffee cream, holds his nose like this, holds his nose, and then holds his hand out. That's it. I'm watching. Doesn't say a word. He gives him the coffee cream, does this with his nose, and just hands his hand out for money. He doesn't want another coffee cream.
No.
He's going to go to Becker's. Yeah. He's cutting his losses at the Galati Brothers. And he gets in the car with the money, and we go to Becker's, and he gets a fresh cream. And
He got the
sorted.
money.
No questions
yeah, of
asked.
course. Well, his face when he's holding his nose with his hand out, just stern is all. And they hand him the money without any questions. And that's my dad's story for the day.
I love that story.
It's a good one.
I have a returning a product story from this week.
Nice. Let's hear that one.
That's just this week? You return a lot of products.
No, not really. I bought a little remote control car for my daughter. I went to a store. I won't name the store because we're kind of associated with them. Stores in which you buy remote control products.
I know which store you're talking about.
So I went and bought it, brought it home. Thing didn't work. It's a piece of crap. So I bring it back in the box, but the plastic part of the cardboard box was gone. It's in the garbage, whatever. So I bring it in. I said, this thing doesn't work. They're like, the guy looks at me just reeking of darts. He had just smoked a cart.
Just crushed. Like
and he looks
Tim.
at me. He's like, can't accept this. Like, what are you talking about? It doesn't work. Tell the package's not here. I'm like, so? And then he says to someone else, they're like, no, they charge us whenever we return not all the packaging. I'm like, they just throw it in the garbage. So I said, so let me get this straight. You want me to go home, root through my garbage, bring you back my garbage, and then you'll give me my money back? You need the packaging. So my daughter's a bit distraught at this point. She's like, Daddy, why are we leaving the store? I said, well, they want Sydney. I made sure to stand right in the middle of the store so they could hear us. They want us to go search through our garbage, bring us back their garbage, and then they'll give us our money. But why would we search through the garbage? I said, well, obviously they need to feel important.
Was it Air Hogs or that Spin Direct company?
No, Air Hogs. I have an Air Hogs little chopper. It works great.
Really?
This was a nondescript company.
So that was it. You just walked out.
Yeah.
Nothing. You had the receipt.
I had the receipt.
Oh, you had the receipt.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, if you have the receipt,
I know.
They should have. Yeah, they should have done.
Couldn't you make a stink? Get a little hot?
Why didn't you poop right in the middle of that store?
And here's the thing: I could have played this card. The gentleman who's the president of this company, I had dinner with not even a month ago.
What you should have?
You should have dropped the name.
Yeah,
but then
be a name dropper.
No.
Come on, get tough.
It's either sit on the floor or drop names.
Didn't
it's
you
either
see
drop
Falling
deuces
Down?
or drop names.
Remember in Falling Down when he just starts getting stuff done?
I was very irritated. So I asked a gentleman runs a Toys R Us that I know, and I said, well, what's your return policy? He says, we just throw that crap in the garbage. Just give them their money. We don't care.
That was ridiculous.
Maybe times are tough for this particular store. Is it in the Oshawa Mall?
No, it's in a strip mall.
A strip mall.
I was so irate.
You're buying your kids' toys in a strip mall?
But I have something to divulge. There's more to the story.
Oh, here we go.
So I went home and searched through the garbage. And there was a part I failed to put onto the remote control car in the refuse.
So it works now.
So it works now.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Nice job.
Wow.
So in essence, I did get my return when they told me to go search through the garbage, and I found the part.
Well, I'm glad it all worked out for you guys.
Was he hacking butts in the store?
Just a mountain of darts in an ashtray. Hey, going for a dart.
So
that's good stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, that happened this week.
So the moral of the story is maybe read the instructions.
It was hidden underneath this other. I don't know how I'd ever found it if I didn't go back.
Well, I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah. Should we do our second TV theme vault?
So we have a couple to choose from there.
Ooh. I say we do this one.
What are the
Yeah, I knew you're. Yeah. I totally agree. Okay, so this is a sitcom from 1975 to 1979.
Ooh, I like those
Oh, yeah, this
years.
is right in our era here. Yeah, what a great tune.
Oh, nice. Written by John Sebastian.
That's right, exactly. From the Lovin' Spoonful.
Yes.
And it was like a #1 hit for him. That I didn't realize.
It's a great song.
Listen to this great tune.
This is a great song, straight up.
Here goes
I like
lyrics.
this one.
Yeah.
Makes me want to cry because Horshack is dead now.
Yeah, that's right, he is. And Travolta was on the show. Back here where we need ya. Well, we tease him a lot because we got him on the spot. Well, we sound like Frank D'Angelo.
Oh, yeah. And we can buy a top 30 hit, apparently, with the Frank Bank.
Yeah, this is a big hit for like... Well, I didn't
You know what I
realize
liked about this show is that they showed you the realism of the school. There was no, like, back in the day, they showed you the real flaws of life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean? They
yeah.
didn't try to curb it or anything.
That's right.
We all knew they were all 35 years old.
Well, that was the thing. I was looking it up. They were like, by season 3, Horshack was 29. He was playing a 17-year-old.
He died of old age like last year.
And this was John Travolta's big break, right?
Yeah.
It was, but it was weird because he was like, hey, oh,
Vinny Barbarino.
Yeah, he's Vinny Barbarino. But he came onto the show as an unknown, and then he did Saturday Night Fever and Grease, and then halfway through he was like a movie star, but he was still playing a high schooler on Welcome Back,
How
Kotter.
long is this theme song?
It's great.
4 minutes? 3 minutes.
Okay.
It's a beauty.
This is the extended version.
So this show debuted a day before I was born, September 9th, 1975.
Yeah.
And ran until 1979.
Gabe
90,
Kaplan.
95 episodes.
Who's a great
4
poker
seasons.
player as well.
Well,
now.
that's the only place I see him now. Gabe Kaplan's on all the poker shows now. That's all he does. He never did he do another sitcom?
I don't know, but he's always sitting there kind of grumpy looking. Doesn't seem as happy as he used to be.
He's not making
Apparently, he made a lot of money off of this TV show.
Did he?
Because he's a big wheel in the poker world.
You'd think
Yeah,
he'd be happy
it goes
about
Welcome Back, Kotter, and then he was Battle of the Network Stars.
I'm pretty sure I saw him playing James Duthie in poker about a month ago on TV.
Oh, yeah, the fictional James Duthie.
Yeah.
Well, Battle of the Network, everyone was on Battle of the Network
So
Stars.
he continued his stand-up act. He was in several movies, including a starring role in Fast Break in '79. He portrayed Groucho Marx in a one-man show.
Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He starred in the TV series Lewis and Clark, which ran for 1 season.
Yeah, that was his next project,
And then
it fell.
and then on the Wikipedia pages goes to his poker playing.
Yeah.
Right after that.
There was a big gap there.
Yeah.
That was a great record. I had that record in our home
Really?
collection.
Like
Yes.
the Welcome
Back album, the
Wow.
actual record.
Wow,
That's pretty cool.
As
Yeah.
of 2009, Kaplan's total live tournament winnings in poker exceeded 1.3 million.
Which
Wow.
means he's probably in debt $3 million, like every other
That's
poker
right.
player. Right?
Like Barkley.
That Phil Hellmuth guy's like lost 20 million, won 10. All those guys are hardcore gamblers, which means they're probably on the verge of losing their life at any given day.
They're in the hole.
They wear diapers. They're sitting there for 12 hours a day. What happens? They go broke.
Depends
That's
is
what-
going to be the next sponsor.
That's
of the
what
podcast.
Toolsy we were saying. You should have done this for this podcast. Just sit there with a diaper. Doesn't have to leave. Doesn't have to do anything.
They have the boxer ones now that you don't even notice you're peeing.
PJ Stock wears them.
Yeah.
Volunteer. You just test it out for charity.
Oh, yeah, that's right, for charity.
I'm peeing right now. I just peed. Hey, my dad could use a pair of those for the ride home.
That's right. Your dad could. Your dad could. Okay, now wait. We have our Better Than Tim segment. Want to do that one?
Where we have to guess the person.
We have to
right?
guess who this is. So maybe Jeremy can help us out with this. So we need to guess. This is a TSN employee, Mike? Yeah, okay. So we have to guess who this person is.
Can you tell me a bedtime story?
I don't think so, Tim.
Who's better than Tim? Everybody!
I am not one who is usually associated with the Jay and Dan podcast, but was once involved in an episode that was so controversial we couldn't even air most of it.
I know that. It's Katie.
Yeah. That's definitely not a man.
Oh, Katie, you were there for... Oh, Katie.
I knew that.
I know what that episode is all about.
That's right. We had a podcast way back when in which at least 10 minutes, 10 minutes were cut out of one entire podcast.
What happened?
There were stories in which Jay got into that we should never have got into.
Yeah, I kind of took it a little too far, Jeremy.
Really?
I was talking
But that's
about
the good stuff,
I
isn't
was
it?
talking about a habit I have on planes. I'll just leave it at that. Can I say that?
Oh, okay.
Katie, when we were doing that podcast, did you realize at the time that this would never make it to air, so to speak?
I didn't want that to be the case, but in reality, I knew this was.
You enjoyed it. You thought it was entertaining.
Well,
It's a good
Mike's buffer was when they were editing it and they had to shut the door while editing it because they didn't want to offend anyone. I know people hate hearing about dreams. Can I tell you one I had the other night?
Sure.
Is that
Sure,
okay?
yeah,
It's quick.
What are we going to do?
Stu Johnson, our president, he's come up several times.
Yes.
I was living at his house.
Oh.
And I was out.
That could happen,
He's like
by the way.
the Crosby kind of
That's
Lemieux
right.
kind of
That's
deal.
right.
Very much that kind of situation.
So I was out playing golf or something, and James Duthie owed me from a gambling debt. And he had to drop off the money. but it was like stacks. Like he owed me like 30 grand cash.
What?
I
It's
don't
like
know.
Phil
This is again.
Hellmuth.
So he dropped it off in a paper bag.
Had he
I'm living
dropped
at
a
my
deuce?
boss's house. No, so I get back and Stu's opened it. So I had to like come up with a story. He's like, "What's with all this money? What's going on here?" So I said, "Oh, golfing. We were betting on a golf game." And
So do you
just
want to
got out
play
of
golf
control.
with me this summer, maybe?
It was just very bizarre that Duffy had to drop off like 30 grand
30
cash
grand?
in a brown paper bag. It was just stacks.
You cannot just say that without explaining how that happened.
That's right. So that's my
But you
dream.
didn't know. You just.
It's my dream.
That's weird.
I know. It was very odd.
Did you drop a silent fart in front of Stu's wife again?
No.
Did you have the over on a hockey game?
Oh, lots of overs. If you're a Leaf fan, take the over recently. And Penguins.
We got one more thing we should get to.
Yeah.
And it's this is pretty special. This is something Mike Gentili helped put together for us for our 25th episode. The special message from a TSN staffer, Katie.
Wow, can't believe it's been 25 episodes of Jay and Dan. Or is it Dan and Jay? Hardly knew you. It's really a celebration of longevity. You know, back when this thing started, Stephen Harper was our PM. Obama was the president of the United States. The Leafs were a long playoff drought. And Lindsay Lohan was drunk. Yes, guy. Well, now you know what they say. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Congrats on 25 wonderful and yet mediocre episodes. And by the way, thanks for never having me on, dicks.
Tatmeister.
Wow.
Jim Taddy. TV legend Jim Taddy. That was great.
Yeah, you should probably explain to our non-Ontario listeners.
Jim Taddy and Mark Hebscher were hosts of Sportsline. This was before TSN really took off, and it was
80s.
the must-watch show at 11 o'clock. That's where you got your highlights, and Taddy was a rock star.
I grew up with it. It was a beautiful show. I remember the original Hebsies, and they would talk about the best. They actually kind of started the plays of the week kind of thing and the highlights.
Yeah,
They
the
were-
Hebsies were like what Marv Albert did on Letterman. He'd bring out the bloopers and all that. Yeah.
And Jim Taddy's big line was "Yes, guy." I always use it on the show because
With
I
his
asked
permission.
I asked him if
Yeah.
I could. He said he'd be honored, and people, why do you always use Jim Taddy's line?
Stealing material.
that sounds a lot like that Californians SNL skit. Why do you always do that? What are you doing here? The funniest skit they've done in years, I think.
I really enjoy it.
Jim Taddy, what a legend.
Yeah.
We asked him the other day to come on the podcast. He's going to.
Yeah, he's going to come on at some point. But yeah, I mean, for everyone across the country has local, legends that they
Squire
love.
Barnes in BC. He is.
Don Taylor. I mean,
Don
we gotta
Taylor.
mention Don.
Mitch Melnick
Yeah.
in Montreal.
Mitch.
Darren Detition in Edmonton.
Dutchie and Perry Solkowski in Edmonton. Mike Toth and Mike Lonsborough in Calgary. Pete Labardius and Roger Millions in Saskatoon.
Fort
Warren
Mac,
Woods.
who do you got?
Yeah, Fort Mac.
Let's
Who's up
go.
there?
We didn't have a TV station.
You were the guy.
No.
Oh.
Before me was Mark Stiles. He was the guy. He now works for the Flames.
I thought you were going to say he was dead.
They don't have to be TV, They can be legendary radio
Oh,
personalities.
Mark Stiles is
That's
legendary.
true.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, Jim Taddy. That was
Taddy.
great
That
hearing
was
him
funny.
and how he added the last line.
Plus
Can we hear that last line again?
Dicks.
That could be the swear word one.
It's still a swear word.
Yeah.
You can't replace a swear word with a swear
Mike
word.
Gentili's saying no. And I got to admit.
By the way, tummy troubles. Nos
Yeah,
cured
feeling
right
better?
up.
He's all set now.
Seriously. Nos is like a miracle drug.
There it is. Well, it's carbonated.
We were at
Those
dinner
bubbles.
and you were gone twice.
Once.
Once?
Did you poop
Once?
your pants twice there?
Whoa.
You pooped twice, didn't you?
Let's keep this above the board.
You did
Katie,
have
can we hear Taddy one more time?
Dicks.
Hey, can we hear the number 2? The deuce?
Well, that one's good.
Big deuce here.
What is that? That's great.
That's Russ
From
Howard,
the,
right?
From the Briar. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun.
We lived to see 25 episodes. Thanks again for not sponsoring the podcast, anyone. It's really going well.
I'd like to thank you guys for having me on
Well-
this many times. It's very nice of you guys.
Thanks
I have
for
to
coming
say,
on.
you're the listeners do love you.
They
do
love the old
you.
man stories.
I love
You know
telling
what?
them.
This latest one was my favorite. I think.
I'm reading the new book about Bruce Springsteen, and his dad and your dad seem very similar.
Oh, really?
But his dad would just get home from work, and the family would be doing their stuff, and he'd just sit at the kitchen table with the smoke and a coffee, and just sit there. Like the lights would be off.
Oh,
He'd
yeah.
just sit there until everyone went to bed, and then he'd go to bed.
That's pretty close, actually.
Dark,
I've had
yeah?
days like that. Yeah.
Just sitting there.
Is
with
that
his
how
own
it is
thoughts.
now in the Taggart house? Or sometimes
Yeah.
you're just sitting there with a
Well,
smoke
now,
and a coffee?
Well, he doesn't smoke anymore because he has COPD. So that's, don't smoke, people, because then eventually you die from it.
Yeah.
But he has very bad lung disorder from smoking. But yeah, definitely. Very depressed individual at times.
I feel so bad. This
Sorry
the
about
podcast
that.
took a wrong turn.
All of a sudden,
it's
we're
all my
talking
fault.
about prevention here.
It's totally my fault.
All right, then.
He's funny. Come on. He's Scottish. That's the way they do it in Glasgow.
Can we go in for a dart, Katie? Hey, going for a dart. There we go. Now we're back.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening. I'm sure we'll find a sponsor eventually.
And next week, who's on the show? Brian Williams?
That's right. CTV
He's gonna be in
TSN.
studio?
Brian Williams is going to be in studio with us.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
So we're going to be talking Olympics and his career. And
He's covered the Olympics before?
From what I understand, he's been to one or two.
He is the Olympics.
He is. Have a great week. Don't smoke.
Yeah.
Lay off the darts. Lay off them.
Hey, going for a dart.
They're going home.
Dance. 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 Keep dancing.
This is the Jay and Dan Podcast.